Hello and welcome to today's SIG CLI meeting. Today is a customized bug scrub. So we're going to go through the issue triage board together, look at issues that haven't been triaged yet, discuss anything that anyone wants to bring up about customized issues, and offer opportunities as we go through them, potentially for a contributor to claim an issue if they're interested. So at any time, feel free to bring up an issue that you're interested in getting feedback on or you want to bring to our attention, including now. Does anyone have anything that they want to start with today? Failing that, we'll just go ahead and get started with the board. So the first one here is, paste it in the chat. There we go. Replacements value in the structured data. This reminds me of one that we saw last time and have seen many times before, where people want to be able to, in this case, they're talking about replacements, but typically in the past, we've seen requests for patches to be able to do something similar, where there is there's some structured data that is incidentally structured, I guess, like as far as the Kubernetes API is concerned, it's just a string, but they have put structured data inside it and they want to be able to patch it.
How have we responded for patches?
For patches, we responded that we would need it to be a specifically targeted operation, like we wouldn't support it generically. And what was it exactly? We had some stipulations about how it would have to work. Basically, it would be like a separate field that would say, you know, this target is actually JSON, and here's what to do with it. Let's see if we can find it. Yeah, this one probably. Let's see toward the end here. Yeah, we asked for a mini repo cap about how it would work. And looks like Jeff had outlined what we'd have to do over here. So yeah, we've explained this. I think we would want to accept it as a patch first. That's been a more popular request. I'm trying to think if the same thing would apply to replacements or if it would be a little different as feature goes.
They did submit an implementation PR.
Oh, on the new issue?
Yes. They linked it in the comment.
Oh, and is it actually, no, it is actually an implementation. It's not minicap. Yes, let's see.
It looks like they're adding like fields to the options to specify that it's JSON followed by path.
Okay, I'll open it up again. So yeah, if we look at hopefully a test showing how it looks. wait, the source is the name and the target then is the container env. Oh, so it's basically, it's making a subpath of this with this format path.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the exact UX I would go for.
I don't know. I'm inclined to think like this implementation needs to be related to the other one that we have, like the one that I like that I was showing here, where Jeff was explaining what we want. So what it would look like to patch structured data within a string field as a when you're using one of the patching mechanisms, and what it would look like to do the same thing with replacements. Like the UX should be related.
I agree. I think it should be like exactly the same as much as possible. We could ask them to like come up with something that might also be applicable to patches.
Yeah. And we asked for a mini-cap to be submitted because like this is a major feature for us. Like we've repeatedly declined to implement this, and then after that long conversation between Jeff and on the other issue, we came to an agreement about what it could look like. But like for contentious issues, I think we do want to have a cap so we all understand what's going on. So yeah, I agree. That we
Yeah, I
want to
think
have
that's fair. We can ask them to submit a small cap and also refer to the patches issue. I do appreciate that they submitted a PR.
yeah, that is good. Here, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a minute. I'm not logged into GitHub, which means I can't comment, which is a little bit of a problem for this. Here we go.
Do you want me to comment?
Yeah, that would be great. But I'm still gonna sign in so I can do it during this meeting here. All right, I'm gonna share my screen again. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, so you've got this one. Do you want me to
Yeah,
sign you, or are you doing it right now?
I'm doing it right now.
Okay. Oh, I'll link you to the other one for convenience. EmbedFS support for KML file system. Oh, here, I'll link this in the chat as well. Support for EmbedFS. So what would that entail exactly? They don't really explain. this file sys package. I'm guessing this is not compatible with embedded file system interface. I wonder what the requirements are. Does anyone know?
I do not.
I've used embeddFS, but I haven't implemented compatibility with it, so I'm not sure what that entails. So they want to be able to right, yeah.
I'm not sure what they mean. Their request is a little vague.
Yeah, I guess instead of reading this, we could ask them. They probably already know what they mean. Probably has something to do with the file system implementation having a very different interface than embeddFS file system, and maybe it's actually Krusty that is expecting the one, doesn't let us use the other. But yeah, let's ask them. Yash needs information. Merge lists. So trying to merge container env. There are in fact different, yeah, it's base A and base B, so there are unique environment variable names. The default merge strategy is determined by the Open API, right?
Yeah. The merge key for containers is port and protocol. I'm not sure what it does for subfields and lists.
Maybe we can try it out real quick here.
I'm
It's gonna
looking at
take
the
too-
merge keys right now. So you continue. Yeah, the merge key is name. So since they have different names, I don't know why it's not merging them together. That's a bit odd.
Yeah, I'm trying to reproduce here. Let's see. To create a bunch of files. Oh, what did they supply the version? Also, that's going to be important. They did not. All right, let's see. Okay, yeah, that reproduces.
This is maybe a dumb question, but I tried to do a find for container env in
Oh,
the OpenAPI file. Does it
it's the
exist? Because
wrong name.
I
Yeah,
can't find it. They might be trying to do env.
yeah, they are. And I just used my reproduction case, and that totally works. And that is exactly the problem. Good find. Field name is N. Not, what is it? Container. Container. That the merge works as expected. Support. Good catch. Patching of resource names linked in the chat. Okay, lots of details on this one. And let's just see. Yeah, no one's responded.
Is this something that replacements could handle? It just looks like they're trying to replace a value.
Agreed. It looks, the syntax even looks like bars, like what they're trying out. So and it's comma delimited, so they should be able to actually, maybe let's look at the docs and see where that field value actually is. I think they said it was in the name.
Yeah, it's like they give an example and it's delimited by dots. So
Right, and it is in the metadata.name of the custom resource, right? That's what they're
yeah,
trying to target.
yeah, that's what it looks like.
Okay. Let's go grab the reference for.
Oh, their last point is that there's a lot of duplicate code to add to every definition of a deployment, which is like their problem with using patches. I don't know if replacements will be better if they want to avoid that.
Yeah, definitely not gonna get a variables section, so we can be clear on that.
This sounds like something they could write a plugin for pretty easily.
Every definition of a deployment. What do they mean by that? That they don't mean a deployment resource, right? There wasn't a deployment resource involved in the description.
I'm guessing they just mean all their like applied resources.
Yeah. Well, it seems like it's just they're changing the namespace. I'm guessing that deployment they mean like instance, like terminal customization, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like the fact that they are essentially repeating this bar business in two different places. That like the
Yeah.
fact that that needs to be swapped out. Because they only have to target one thing, so it's not like we can. I don't know. Kustomize sometimes just is really verbose, just inherently because it's our philosophy is that we want to be very explicit about what you're trying to do. So sometimes that does mean like if you want to do multiple transformations, you have to supply multiple specifications, one for each. Like this doesn't look unusual to me, to be honest.
I agree. They also do they have to do it in every definition? Because if they're doing it for all their resources, couldn't they just do it in an overlay and target all their resources?
I'm guessing that what they mean is like that they have a base that just about the default namespace, and then did they explain that? I'm guessing they have a whole bunch of different overlays that change the namespace to bar, baz, clux, whatever, and they don't like doing both of these things in all of those various overlays. That's my reading of it. Could be wrong.
I mean, is there something stopping them from having another overlay on top of that?
No, but I'm guessing like the namespace name is what's varying between them, between the deployments. Like typically, if
Yeah,
you're instantiating an app, then it's going to be in its own namespace.
Okay.
It actually this description of why they don't like it negates the benefit of just setting namespace bar. It kind of reminds me of the problem that we're tackling around identifying field specs in a better way. Because in a way they want the namespace transformer to know that the namespace value also appears right here. Maybe that's the underlying problem.
Is it possible to configure the transformers to, I guess not, do like a partial part of a string.
I don't think so. Let me take a peek at the transformer documentation.
I don't think so.
As it's just field specs.
I didn't know these docs existed.
I think this goes straight to the code, yeah, so it's not amazing, but field spec, it's just the DGBK path, great if not present. Yeah, there's nothing about field delimitation like replacements
I
have.
see. Yeah, what UN proposed was like regex in the field spec, which I think is maybe a step too far. I might be open to like it's kind of the same types of replacements as replacements where it's delimited and structured.
Yeah. Silly question, but where are the replacement docs?
If you go to, yeah, there it is.
Yeah. So the syntax we have there, just seeing if this kind of makes sense. Yeah, oh, right, options, delimiter, index grade, etc. There are some similarities there.
It's also probably not great that we have a bunch of different ways to specify a path used by different fields.
Yep. I guess replacements is the latest and greatest version of it. And in terms of where we have duplicate functionality, that's the way of the future. Whereas field specs are, well, related to that issue that you're working on design for. Like we have the configurations, the open API, we have all sorts of ways of pointing our transformers to fields, and we're going to need to reconcile that. Okay, so maybe I'll assign myself to respond to this one and say something around, we definitely wouldn't do a generic variable feature. In fact, we had something along the lines of that. It's deprecated. Here's the link to the issued features document. However, it sounds like what you're trying to do is inform Kustomize that the namespace appears at a specific path. And you can do that, but not for a sub part of the path. And that would be a feature we would consider. It would look something like this. What do you think? Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds good.
All right. Document immutable generator option. Immutable config map. Ah, let's just double check that. Yeah, seems to be missing. Sure, sounds good to me. Back to the docs here. And then we should probably assign it to the docs project to make sure it gets over to the new docs as well. Kind documentation feature. Yeah. send a link to this one. It's number 43. Allows setting every rail replacements.
I think the short answer to this is no. Because we just use a JSON patch library, which I don't think supports this syntax.
So I can try Googling for them. Target.
Yeah, I'm on a Stack Overflow site that says based on the JSON RFC, there's no way to select an element by property.
Is it this result that I just got? No. Could you link that or the specification? So, or maybe just do a quick response to them. It seems like it's just a question. They're not asking us for a feature necessarily. And well, the answer is obvious also. If it was a feature request, we're not gonna change the, we're not gonna do anything that's not in the spec.
Yeah, it's the start of page 4, which tells you how to target array elements.
Somewhere in here?
Yeah, right at the, yeah.
So and will be enabling any features outside the spec. Something like that.
Sounds good.
Okay, this one. Sure. Oh no, there has been discussion on here. Except no. Listen, filter.
Oh, yeah, we can accept this issue. We found this on this guy's PR, and I told him to file an issue, so he did. It's legitimate. Bug, I guess.
This is saying here though, but it just made a docs problem.
I think he's saying in some scenarios you can create it, like by key value pair. I think in other scenarios, it doesn't work.
For example, of complex creation. Create a field with an intermediate array entry. Is he saying like the example that he had at the beginning is actually, it sounds like he's saying there isn't a bug.
Oh, is
by
he?
that last comment. Did I link this? Yeah, I did. It's just cannot create or append to arrays. Change 0 image. Options create. So it's trying to create the containers field that didn't exist at all. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. So it works if you do like the key equals value syntax, but not any of the other ones, like number or dash.
So I guess the question then is, should the other version work in a context, since we're specifically in the Kubernetes context here, if the container doesn't exist, don't you need to give it a name for it to be valid?
That's true. I guess one possibility is that like there's a name somewhere in the replacement itself, and you want to insert this new thing at like a specific, like in a specific order at a specific index of the array. That might be a little bit niche. So I'm fine not supporting that and just saying like you have to use key value pairs to create array elements.
Okay. Syntax, or well, consider supporting that specifically. And then maybe I'll rename it cannot create arrays by index.
Sure.
Whoa. Or well, that's the opposite. I said one thing and I'm renaming it to the opposite. Replacement filter create option. Oh, I forgot to accept it button. Accepted, trash, to take that off, and then kind documentation. I guess it wasn't rename, retitle, maybe. I think I can do it myself here. Okay. Transformer documentation is missing docs on namespace transformer. I mean, that's not. There's just some examples that namespace transformer mentions it.
Yeah, all the other ones do have examples.
Sure, I guess this is something that we should consider in the docs revamp that we're working on. Like,
yeah,
we do
like
have documentation.
If we have a transformers section on the new site, we can add something about namespace transformer.
Yeah, this, because there is already, what was I looking at before? I'm sure it's in here. All the transformers are in here, I'm pretty sure. Space transformer. There's an example.
We can link this to them. I don't blame them for not being able to find it.
Yeah. Docs in number, consolidate. Yeah. And should probably merge the examples. Documentation. And then the project. Transformer example. All right. Next we have this one. Here it is in the chat. Pull upstream Kubernetes manifest from base customization YAML
file. Someone already replied to this. Maybe we can just mark it needs information.
Good point. Seems like kind support too. I guess it is a question marker, so. There's the link. Secret hash not taken into account by spec template. Spec volumes Azure file. Secret. Azure file. Is that really a standard field?
It might be Azure specific.
Yeah, looks like it is.
In which case is this a Kustomize issue or a Microsoft issue?
It looks like it. I guess I should really look at the API docs, not this, but just let me check here too. It seems like it's part of the real spec.
Really?
Yeah, volume. What's the easiest way to get to the docs? I don't want the concept docs, I want the reference.
This might be actually related to an actual issue. Maybe not, but like for replacements, the hash doesn't get propagated correctly. So I wonder if there's like a general bug with the hashes getting added to all the name references.
It is a real field, as you can see here. Is your disk, is your file. It's there. Right, and how are they doing this? This is just a place.
It might
where...
be. Is Kustomize aware of this? Because if it's not listed in name references, Kustomize might not be looking at it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because if it's a real field, then we should be aware of it, and maybe this. So this is the name reference transformer, so it's using field specs, so we can go check that. Do you remember offhand where that file is? I always have trouble digging it up.
I think it's an API internal config, something like that. Config with a K. Config.
Oh, right.
Let me find it.
Config.
Somewhere.
Plugins.
Maybe API built-ins? Oh, it just API config.
Oh, is it this?
Built-in plugin consts.
Name reference field specs. Right, let me take a look at what exactly this was again. It's a secret name field within Azure file within volumes. Okay. I mean, if I search this for Azure, oh, surprisingly, that is the field we're talking about. Name is your file secret name. Wait a minute, but that's in persistent volume, not in the pod. So yeah, that's probably missing. Yeah, here's the pod section. I think we're just missing it.
Oh yeah, we can add it.
Because the not that's a possible location. Secret name. And then I'll accept it. All right, maybe one more since we have 5 minutes left.
Sure.
let's see, where did I get to here? This one, patch delete not working as expected. I think this is a duplicate. Or no, actually there is already an issue about patch directives, but I'm not sure if it is. No, it's retained keys. That isn't honored. That is not the one I've commented on. Maybe there's a third. This one might be it. Okay, yeah, this is also about retained keys. All right, so this is novel. Let's take a look. Wait, they forgot to include the
customization file.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should ask for that.
I guess you could kind of tell because they're getting this, so
I'm slightly confused because it looks like they're trying to delete something that isn't there.
oh yeah.
In which case it should either like throw an error or not do anything, which would also be a bug, but
Yeah, without the input file, we can't tell for sure if that's the problem or if there's a different problem. Please provide the input files as well. And patch, yeah. All right. With that, I think I'll call it a day. We have only 2 minutes to spare, and that would be a pretty rush for getting through another one necessarily. So thank you everyone for coming today. And as always, feel free to reach out to us in the Kustomize channel, and please join us at the other bi-weekly or at the weekly SIG meetings that we have. Next week will be a full SIG meeting.